All right. Praise the Lord, everybody. I hope everybody's having a terrific day, um, evening, afternoon, morning, possibly. I don't know, because everybody is around the world in different time zones. Anyway, so seeing how my work vehicle stopped on me again, I'm taking this opportunity to say some stuff, say some things. I missed out on my reading today so far. So I gotta make that up. But yesterday, when I was going through my readings, I was listening into Mark, which Matthew, Mark, and Luke, they all represent give out a lot of the same stories, just different ways. So I was listening to it as always, and it caught my attention when Jesus was in the garden praying. So he was in the garden praying, and two of his disciples were there. One I believe is Peter, and they couldn't stay awake. And he said, "Can you not just stay awake for me for a little bit?" Then he went back to go pray. Then he came back again, and he's like, Can you not stay with me for 1 hour? Then he goes back again and prays. They wind up falling back asleep, and during the time, Jesus is praying, and he stops and he goes back up to the men and he says, "Don't worry, get your rest." Basically like, just sleep, because the time is coming. And so while he was talking to them about that, Judas came up with, the Pharisees, the soldiers and stuff, and he pointed out to Jesus, or he said, "I will go up to the man who it is that you're looking for." And so he went up to Jesus and he kissed him on the cheek, because that's what he was saying. He said he'll go up to the man that they're looking for and kiss him on the cheek. And then they came and took him away. And then Peter took the sword from one of the soldiers and cut off their ear. And Jesus was like, no need for all of that. And Peter was like, okay, he dropped the sword. And again, sorry, I paraphrase a lot. And they got brought to the jail, put in jail, and brought up for judgment from everybody. And then Pontius Pilate, I can't never get his first name right, but Pilate was like, I don't see no wrong in this man. Why is it that you guys want me to basically execute him, when the man next to him is known as a known criminal and doing bad things? He said for that he's going to wash his hand of the situation and let the people decide, but he didn't want to have no part in it. And his wife did warn him, though, about a dream that she had, and that warning should have been enough for him to have his whole mind change that, no, we're not going to do this. So Pilate, washes his hands and he goes on. And then the crowd started shouting for Barabbas to be set free. That's what their judgment was. And then when it came to Christ, they were like, crucify him. And that's where his judgment was. And as we go more into the story, you know that he was tied up and beaten, really, really bad. So today, take that whole picture, okay, and break it down into life itself. all right? As followers and believers of Christ, right? You're going to have people that are come up against you all the time because they are jealous of what you have. Okay, they don't like the fact that your spirit is in good standards, in a good way. They don't like the blessings that you receive. They don't like how God has favor over you. And I think you're weird, but we're supposed to be peculiar. I can't say the word right now. We're supposed to be different people. You know, we're supposed to be the oddballs, but not in that bad way. So people will eventually try to come up against you, and it starts with the closest that you have. It could be a family member, it could be a friend, it could be your best friend. It doesn't matter, because you gotta think about it. Jesus had 12 disciples, right? And out of 12 disciples, just one had turned against him, and that one that turned against him had a multitude turn against him. So can you imagine that you have your best friend? You know, you're doing everything that the Lord is telling you to do. You're doing all the good that you can do. And, you know, they're like the law enforcement saying, like, no, you can't be doing this anymore, kind of deal, right? And they wind up ratting you out, you know, and then they get picked up by the police and taken to jail, right? And the judge like says, you know what, I don't see nothing wrong with this person. They were exercising their rights, you know. And he says he's not gonna put his hands into it. So he lets the jury and the other people in the court choose the decision, or choose what's gonna happen. You know, either you go to jail or you get set free. And instead of saying crucify you, they're like incarcerate them. You know, and then eventually, guess what? You wind up being incarcerated. You get in there, it's a bad situation. Your spiritual life gets beat up and broke down. Your physical can still get beat up and broken down, because you don't know, if someone don't like you, they're gonna want to do harm to you, and you're gonna suffer just for that time frame. But you would be able to be free again. The hardest thing is when somebody that you know, that you love and care about, betrays you, all right, and gets another group of people to turn on you and betray you as well. It's not an easy pill to swallow. It's like, how did Jesus swallow that pill? You know, how come he didn't get angry, you know, and go off on why am I just drawing a blank? Judas. Why didn't he just go off on Judas? You know, and tell him, like, why are you doing this to me? Ask him why he's doing it to him. All that stuff. But he didn't. He didn't do it because he was following God's will. And by following God's will, he was being obedient to what God had wanted. So you could be having people come against you, crowds come against you, multitudes, whatever it be, but you don't fight back with them or argue back with them. You just let them say what they say, because at the end of the day, that person that turned on you, they're gonna have to answer for that. those people that turned against you, they're gonna have to answer for that as well. Judas would have had answer to it if he didn't end up committing suicide. And because he did commit suicide, we all know the end of that, right? So when people come up against you, don't think of it as a burden or anything in a negative fashion. Think about it as you're God's chosen. Because the enemy, right? The enemy wants to come at you any kind of way and use anybody against you. Just like how a robber, won't break into an empty house. The devil won't mess with you if he already have what he got or what he wants. Meaning, if you're not serving the Lord, doing right by the Lord, being a disciple, all that, the enemy will come into you, and you'll never know that they're in you, because you don't get to feel spirits moving in and out of you. So be glad that there's an angel against you and that God's hand is over you. Be glad that no real harm has ever come to you. If you went through a situation where you shouldn't have been here today, thank God, because he protected you. And thank God just for people that want to come up against you, because with them, they're going to make you exercise your faith 10 times more, and even still, so pray for them. Pray for them. Don't just let people speak on you and not pray for them to be blessed with something else, or just to pray for their soul, because God will bless you still abundantly for your as you could say, maybe quote unquote sacrifice, but for your suffering from those people. And the devil, well, he's gonna bless them too. Yes, you can be blessed by the Lord and by the devil. It's really crazy. I don't think you want to be blessed by the devil, because you'll always get what you want, but you'll never get what you actually need. Friends come and go. Family come and go. But Jesus, God, is eternal and is always there. He is the one person that will never turn their back on you. And he will never forget about you. He will never leave you. Okay? As long as you continuously try to seek him in any way possible, he will still be there with you, fighting the fight for you, the battle for you, so that you have the victory. Okay? So rest assured that God is with you, and he'll always be with you. Just do the things that you know that is right and keep pushing forward. And just keep pushing. You gotta push. Pray until something happens. Push. If you like this, please like and share. I would like to start being able to have a small following, just because I want to reach people more. And eventually I'll wind up doing more stuff and more things. I'm just trying to get a startup all over again. All right? God bless.